I'm not betting against Patrick Mahomes. Are you kidding? That man is the new Brady. You bet against Brady, good luck with that.
Seriously.
We've learned time and time again, you cannot count that dude out. And now Patrick Mahomes is continuing to prove it. You cannot count that man out. So, no, I had Kansas City win. I would love to see Mahomes. I like Mahomes as a quarterback. I watched him when he was at Texas Tech late night when I couldn't sleep. I was like, damn, who the hell is this kid? Like, I'm watching this dude, and,
They hate when you elevate. The second of losses, I'm handing them out, I had to go delegate. It feel like I'm floating, I'm lost in the moment, I swear I could live.
Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Express Yourself with Sbpress. I'm your host, and I just want to say thank you as always. But today is not about me, and it's never really is. It's about the amazing guest that's here with us today. So, ladies and gentlemen, he is the head of Nightcast Media, as well as a MLBBro.com brethren. And I just want to say thank you again, Mr. Nick Hamilton, for tuning in with us.
Hey, man, thanks for having me, man. I appreciate it, man. I'm loving the cast. I checked it out a couple episodes, so I see how you move. So I'm a little nervous, man. I'm gonna see if you're gonna put me on a hot seat, man.
Let me chill
out. You
out.
got that intense look, like, so what did you do last month, bro? I don't know.
I actually. Past time I got to ask Miss Sydney from Scream what she did last,
Yeah,
see,
that's
what I'm saying. I got to ask her
go.
that in person. Yeah, she's another person I got to meet at my gas station. So
what did she say?
She did say it was Lost Boys.
Oh, okay.
Ooh,
classic.
That's a good one.
Classic.
Yeah.
But I just want to say, on behalf of myself and everyone else here, you are Mr. LA, in my opinion.
I appreciate it.
Not only, sports-wise, entertainment-wise, but just in the community. And just, big ups to you and everything that you do. And thank you for standing up and staying out in the scene for us as young black men.
No, I appreciate that, man. I mean, I just do what I know to do. Like I'm still figuring out a lot of things. I'm still learning a lot of things, as we all are. But I know it's just something that I wanted to do, and I know how I would feel, and I know I'm not the only one that would feel that way. Like they say, if you get one bad email, it's probably 100 bad emails, you just didn't see them. So I look at it from that standpoint as far as, hey, if I feel like this or have been done this particular way, then there's probably 50, 60, 70 other people that have been experienced this, and they probably haven't had the voice to express it. So here's my opportunity to use my platform, use my voice to express certain things. And, as the years have come, I've learned how to, every fight is not worth fighting, but there's certain battles that need to be, fought, and you got to get into the trenches on. So.
No, definitely. Big ups to you on that. So let the listeners and viewers know where you're originally from, your family upbringing.
Man, born and raised in L.A., grew up in Carson for a minute, moved to L.A., Inglewood area, then during high school went back and forth between L.A. and Long Beach. I got family all over, man. So, I've been able to meet people all over. It was just something that I never got into media. Like, I never thought the media space. You asked me when I was a kid. I know I wanted to be a writer, but I didn't know what type, because there's so many different forms of it. Film writing, script writing, poetry, whatever it is, right? Mm-hmm. So you kind of have to look at what you want to do. And I kind of fell into this because this was not, I went back to school for this. Like once I left school, the first time after a year, I was like, yeah, screw school. Because school is not a line for us to succeed. It prepares us to be worker bees. It prepares us to either go to the penitentiary or to be worker bees. It is never inclined for you to sit up there and to own something of your own. IP, whatever it is, it's never inclined for us to do that in the public school system, especially for black and brown kids. It's never been that way. It's designed for us to fail. It's more prevalent now in the school system because there's a school to prison pipeline.
Right.
And so you, especially coming from the inner city, coming from areas that we come from, looking at the statistics that are done every year, you get fed those things so many times, you're going to start to believe them, or at least in the back of your mind. And we've always been taught we got to be twice as good just to get equal, benefits, equal pay, which I think is complete BS.
Yeah. Oh, no, you're allowed to. You can go ahead and say it.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, And those notions that we were brought up in, and you get to a certain point where it's like, why do I have to work twice as hard just to get the same as my counterpart who doesn't look like me? That doesn't make sense to me.
Right.
So, yeah, do I have to put forth the effort? Do I have to go through certain barriers or these invisible barriers that have been presented, in front of me that my other contemporaries that don't look like me have to go through? Yes. Does racism exist? Yes. This country was founded on racism. It's one of the fabrics of this country. However, I do not allow that to stop me from getting to what I need to get to. And that's what kind of pursued me to go into the media space after my previous careers, which I will talk about later and more in depth when I write my book.
Yes.
But,
heard that?
until then, oh, yeah, it's coming. That's
Yes.
just now is not the time for it right now. I haven't gotten to a certain level. Everything happens in this proper timing. So, did that. Went back to school. Got an internship at ESPN LA. Worked that. The first 13 months, as I've told people on other shows as well, like my first 13 months, man, I had no life. I was going to school. I interned 21 hours a week. I worked part-time. And at that time, blogging was the antichrist of media at that point. It wasn't what it is now. We're like, oh, how many viewers you have? How many people come to your site? Like, now it's a norm. It's almost a norm. But back then, it was like the antichrist. So I learned how to blog, and I sucked ass when it came to writing stories at first, because it's totally different from being creative and writing poetry versus actually writing stories that on accounts of the events that you have covered.
So picking up on that, how were you actually sworn in to be able to cover the illustrious teams that you're covering?
Like I said, I got an internship at ESPN LA. Like I tell people all the time, my first 13 months were no life. I interned 21 hours a week. I worked part-time. I was a blogger, and I went to school. And blogging back then was the antichrist of media. When you told people you blog, they looked at you like you had freaking COVID. It just wasn't, like it is now. Like people say, oh, I got a blog. Like, oh, really? Like, how many people come to your site? Like, how many monthly visitors? Like, everybody's excited about, you having a blog. But back then, it was a strictly traditional journalism. If you weren't working for a network, or you weren't doing this or covering this, you weren't shit. That's how they treated you. God rest his soul, was a mentor and a dear friend of mine, Eric Wade, who had been a photographer for 10 years prior. And we kind of met on Facebook. That's when Facebook was popping. And he was like, we met about a month later, and he was like, look, I can't promise you the world, but whatever I can do to help get you into stuff, I will help get you in. I know a few people. So I started covering high school. My first game, I covered a high school football game. I covered a girls basketball game, Westchester. My first high school game here in Los Angeles was Crenshaw against Dorsey. If you're from the LA area, that game has a lot of layers to it. And it gets to a point where you're like, do I really want to cover that game or not?
It's bigger than the game itself.
Yes, indeed. It's a lot of street politics involved in it. So I went and did it. Had a good time. Ended up meeting Keyshawn Johnson that day. I was like, damn, this dude, USC Keyshawn Johnson. Like, wow. He was obviously Dorsey alum. I did go to Crenshaw for a quick period. But, so,
You know the rivalry.
Yeah. So, yeah, like I said, covering the Westchester girls basketball game, that was interesting. And then my first professional team was the WNBA, and it was the LA Sparks. And that was my first professional team, and then started building out from there. Worked for various, outlets, covered the Houston Texans for 3.5 seasons. Ended up covering the San Diego Chargers, which now is the LA Chargers, before the Rams came back.
Right.
I started kind of intermittently covering the Rams since 2017, but really got in good around 2018-ish. I was a PA for one company that covered the LA Kings, so I was actually around when the Kings won their last Stanley Cup in 2014. too nervous to go down to the ice, dog. I later found out, oh, why didn't you come to the ice? Well, why the hell didn't you tell me? I would have come down to the ice, man. Are you crazy?
They probably thought, black man don't want to come this close to the ice,
Yeah, okay. I was a Kings fan for many, many, many years. I used to sneak at night in my bedroom and listen to Kings games with Bob Miller.
Wow.
Make sure my moms wouldn't come in and hear me with the radio on.
I grew up liking the Ducks, Timo
Solani
and Paul Correa.
I'm sorry to hear that,
so,
man.
I got a little.
It's okay.
There.
You got off that narcotic yet?
A little bit.
Okay. Well, hey, man, 12 steps.
It takes time, man. It takes time.
So, I mean, just going through those and covering those, sparks and getting to know Candace Parker and building relationships that way and doing other things. And they used to have a thing called NFL 1-on-1 before the NFL returned to LA. It was like a big gathering of like LA, NFL players and whatnot. Ended up covering the Clippers. Eventually started covering the Lakers a little bit like towards the end of Kobe's career. So kind of talked to Kobe a few times. And I used to always tell people like, yo, Kobe would never remember my name, but he knew my face. So when he would see me at stuff, he was like, oh, okay, you. And was a really cool dude. Like I know people have had stories about Kobe Bryant, when he was playing, latter part of his career, when he wasn't playing. I've always had good interaction with Kobe. I've never had a bad interaction with Kobe Bryant, ever. Like the times that I've interacted with him, it was never bad. It was always cool, always good. God rest his soul and his daughter and those people that lost their lives on that helicopter. And ironically, I talked to Kobe a week before he passed at an event at what's called now BMO Stadium where the LAFC play. He was hosting a soccer clinic because I was really in step with Body Armor. And then being able to cover other teams in the WNBA and expanding and those winning championships. Covering the Lakers virtually because of COVID, because I wasn't traveling to that damn bubble.
No, absolutely
Only
not.
bubbles I was seeing was in my bathtub. We wasn't doing that.
Nope.
Too damn expensive too, and I gotta come out of pocket for that.
We ain't going to Disney World.
But as long as I'm on those Zoom calls, I'm just fine. I'm watching the games. I'm on the Zoom call, so I'm asking questions when I can get questions in. And follow and carrying them to when they won that 2020 chip with LeBron and AD and all those boys. So being able to watch that, I've been very, very fortunate in my career to have championships. I covered the LA Rams in 2021 from the time that OTAs and training camp and all the way up until watching the Super Bowl being played in my backyard at SoFi Stadium and watching one of the most epic halftime shows with Dr. Dre and Snoop. And then the Rams actually winning and going to the after party and then going to the parade and all of that stuff, man. That to me is probably one of the most highlight moments of my career is that Rams season.
Crazy that you mentioned that because I had Mr. David Thomas Styles 2023 Styles of the Year who styled Dr. Dre for that Super Bowl event as well and for the commercials that happened this year.
Yeah, he did a great job, man.
Yeah.
That man did a great job. I mean, like I said, that was just – the Rams are already a great organization as it is and what they do around various communities around L.A., the black, brown, Asian, LGBTQ+, I mean, whoever. They always have their thumb on the pulse of the city. And that's something I respect. Molly Higgins does an outstanding job in the community department as far as making sure that the Rams are at various schools and areas in the community where they can, provide service. And they've connected with people that already have, roots in the community, which is very, very smart. So that's why you see certain halftime acts come because those relationships that have been forged
are very pivotal.
Exactly. And it brings the people in.
Completely.
Especially from the black and the Latino community. So, I have a tremendous amount of respect for the Rams organization. I will always say that from the PR department to the community affairs department. I even got a chance to meet Stan Kroenke and take a picture with Stan. I even held the trophy. There's a picture. I got the trophy in my hand.
Man, he's around.
I felt like all the work I put in that year. I felt like
you deserved it, man.
I felt like I played in that game. You know what I mean,
man? Blood, sweat, and tears.
Man, you ain't and a whole bunch of other stuff I had to deal with. So yeah.
Now pivoting away from that sport, and you're alluding to black and brown. MLBBro.com, which also represents black and brown players and prospects and coaches, managers, and everything. How long have you been a part of the team?
This will be year 4. I was afforded the opportunity. Rob Parker had reached out to me and asked me would I be a part of it. I'm like, okay, what is it? You know what I mean? I'm like, okay, what is it? oh, it's this. So he broke it down to me. I said, yeah, sure. So I was one of the original, you know,
You're part of the original 14.
Welcome to Death Row. You know, that's what. that's where I am. I was part of the Chronic album as it pertains to MLB Bro. You know what I mean? Like
I
were
just
on the
got
beginning
sworn
stages.
in as well.
Yeah, man, congratulations.
No, thank you. I am honored and proud to be a part of this. This is my first year, and in comparison to a 4-year A1 from day one, what are some of the things that I should be prepared for coming up with this season?
Just work, man. Just work. It's gonna be some bullshit. I'm gonna tell you that right. I mean, we've been in meetings and we know that certain people still can't get into certain, which is absolutely mind-boggling to me. But I think you just have to be able to pace yourself, know what your strengths are, and play to those strengths, and whatever you want to do that you feel like it adds value to that organization, go for it and do it. I tell people, and I say this, and there's no disrespect to anybody. I said, not named Rob Parker, I'm the best at what I do at that organization. Anybody want to see me, I take the Pepsi challenge anytime, any place.
Whoa.
And that's how you have to do it. If you don't feel like you're the best at what you do, then what the hell are you doing it for?
I second that. So I will be, studying, at the Nick Hamilton University.
No. Listen, bro. I tell people all the time, be better than what I am.
I don't,
because why be? I don't want to be like Mike. I want to be better than Mike. You know what I mean? Now I can pick up. I can learn and take little bits and pieces and put it in my arsenal. But to be like him, nah, I'm cool because I'm me. Just like you're you, right? So I always tell people, even kids, when I talk to them in schools, like, be better than what you see. Whether it be me, whether it be somebody on television, or somebody you meet on the street, be better than what they are. Because you have a golden opportunity to do that. It's up to you how you facilitate your path and what your trajectory is, what you choose it to be. But you got to be better, man. Like, and have fun with this shit.
Yeah,
like,
completely.
Man, I had. Let me tell you something. Super Bowl week, I worked, but I had a ball.
Yeah, he was out there, a week prior to it even starting. So he was turning up, before everybody even got there.
I had a ball. There's certain stuff I can't reveal right now, but when it's time for the book, it'll be revealed.
We'll get to revealing some of the Super Bowl, weekend and stuff. But I would like to reveal this awesome segment I call Blast from the Past, where I throw up a few images, that
Let's
represent you and things that you've done. So the first thing that come to mind, just let it, go.
All right, bet.
All right. So Queen behind the scenes.
Oh man, I think that's that dude named Rob Parker. I think, that looked like him. Nah, Rob's a great man. I mean, you can't speak enough great things about Rob Parker and what he's been able to do to those of us that are in our community and given opportunity. And that's why I said it earlier. I was afforded the opportunity to be a part of MLB, bro, because he didn't have to call me. He didn't have to say anything. He could just be like, "Hey, what's up, man? How you doing?" And exchange pleasantries and move forward. So yeah, Rob Parker. That was at his party. I'm a Marvel fan, by the way. If you couldn't
same.
tell. Yeah.
Same.
MCU. Yeah, pro MCU.
We'll definitely be talking a lot of that off there.
Oh, Jennifer Hudson. That picture got a lot more likes than it should have. And it made me a little nervous because I'm like, hey, man, don't try to read into something that ain't there. She was nice enough to take a picture. I asked her a question. She was nice enough to answer the question. And then we took a photo. That's all it was. Shout out to my man Common. I love their union. I hope it continues to go strong. But she's a really cool person. Like, Jennifer Hudson's a really cool person. That was at the recent AFCO Awards, which I'm also a member of.
Yes.
Y'all are color coordinating.
Gotta coordinate. Oh, Will Smith, man. That was last year's AFCO Awards. That was the first time that Will had actually come out in public since the infamous slap of Chris Rock. Which, by the way, I support. But I'm pro Will Smith, so I'm pro Team Will.
I did some research on this one,
and he spoke with me for about 30 to 45 seconds. That's how you know I ain't lying, because I can tell you how long I had with that man. But he was really cool, very down to earth, and I just told him, hey man, I'm riding with you. We support you. I appreciate all the pathway that you laid up until this point, and thank you for what you contributed, to the business and to the culture. And he was like, man, real cool. I said, hey, man, you mind if I get a picture? He's like, yeah. his publisher was like, yeah, sure. Once again, sure. So we got the picture, and that'll be a moment that also, stands out in my mind as well. Great guy.
You'll show one day, this is the man who defines getting jiggy with it.
This is the Fresh Prince, the original.
The original. Miss Longoria.
Oh man, that was at a Flamin' Hot. I believe it was a screening, and I just admired her work. And especially as a first-time director. Flamin' Hot was an incredible movie. If you haven't seen it, it's all over Hulu or Disney Plus. But I just think she was just to have a Latina woman directing a film based upon, someone that comes from her community, I thought was incredible. And the fact that she was able to tell that story and had the lane to tell it, I thought was incredible. And I think she did a great job as a director.
Amazing, and giving back to her community and putting spotlight on it, too.
Yeah, I mean, you got Annie Gonzalez, who I think is an up-and-coming actress. She was also in Flamin' Hot. She got some other projects coming up that she's working on. And I think she's one of those ones. I think Annie Gonzalez is one of those ones where you're going to start to see, man, okay, wait, she was in Flamin'. Oh yeah, I remember that. You're going to say, oh yeah, I remember that, because she's going to have I think if she does it right, she's going to have a very impactful career.
Mm-hmm.
I love the fact that within the Latin community, there's that stereotype around like hot Cheeto fingers, if you guys have heard that.
Mm-hmm.
And it was kind of like that. We own this.
Mm-hmm.
We own this, and we're going to tell the story. It's incredible.
Yeah, that was great. Great moment.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Pat McAfee, one of my favorites.
Yes.
Pat McAfee, I look up. He actually, this was at the Super Bowl in Arizona, and I asked him a question. He gave me some good advice, and he was just a real down to earth guy. Like what you see on television, he's just like that off the camera. And he's just I admire what he's done. His business savvy, the way he's been able to take his brand and really build it and really expand it, and just naturally be him. And I think authenticity is something that is not so prevalent in this business that we have to start making prevalent in this business.
Agreed.
True that.
Oh, America Ferrera, shout out to her. That was at a Barbie screening not too long ago. It was a Newey House. I guess that's what they call it. I don't know. I guess that's how they pronounce it. New House. Yeah, you know.
I've been there.
Yeah. I know how to spell it, but that's about it.
That's about it.
But she was very. Me and a friend of mine, we went to there was a Q&A with her and J-Lo, and J-Lo introduced her, and that's matter of fact the picture that myself and my boy, shout out to Evan Jackson of Young, Bold, and Regal. We were sitting there, and they all took a picture and made the Hollywood Reporter. By the way, so we're on the cover, the cover picture of the Hollywood Reporter.
Yeah, holla at your boy.
I digress. But anyway, yeah, for like a whole 3 hours, you couldn't tell me nothing. But no, she was really nice, very gracious. Asked her a couple of questions, and then even met her at the reception, and she was still very nice and willing to take a picture, and just wished her well and looking forward to more projects. And she was just talking about having representation and being able to be heard and be seen for you, not being seen as some character. And I thought that was very, very vital for not just people from in her community, but I think just women as a whole. I think it's vital that women want to be seen and should be seen and heard, and have their voices heard and have their stories told. No different than us as men want our stories told, especially for those that come from our community. So I'm on board with that.
She had one of those the most iconic monologues in Barbie, and it was just like a whole thing that like women go through. It was just she really put the nail on the head on that.
That's how much I support her, Issa Rae, because I had to sit through Barbie.
Oh, I love Issa Rae.
Yeah.
He looks like he's meeting you.
The D-O-double-G. Nah. That's the dog right there. That's the dog father.
Yes.
We went to, I was at a screening for The Underdogs, which it was a very funny movie. If you haven't seen The Underdogs on Amazon Prime.
Yes.
#1 movie in 2 weeks, Amazon Prime. And just meeting Dog. I've met Dog before, talked to him briefly before, but just it's always cool to meet Snoop. And I told him, I said, man, that shit was funny. He was like, you liked it? I said, yeah, man, that shit was funny. I was like, man, I didn't want to. I had to go to the bathroom. I sat in my seat, man, until it was over.
Right.
That's how you know it was good. And so he was gracious enough to take a picture. And, Snoop is an incredible marketer. I mean, everywhere you go see Snoop. And now they got the gin and juice line popping now.
Wow.
I'm mad I missed a Super Bowl after party, but I had to go home.
I heard that was popping. Like, hey, nephew.
I had to go home.
You got to come through after the game.
I had to go
gin
home.
and juice.
I had a gin and juice, but I had to go home. I had to catch my flight home, Jack. I mean,
you were already out there prior a week to the game.
I had to catch my flight home, Jack. I left the game early, like in the fourth quarter to get home. So,
I almost wanted to ask, at that point, did you have a good feeling on who was going to win it?
Oh, I had Kansas City winning it the whole time. Yeah, I'm not betting against Patrick Mahomes. Are you kidding? That man is the new Brady. You bet against Brady, good luck with that.
Seriously.
We've learned time and time again, you cannot count that dude out. And now Patrick Mahomes is continuing to prove it. You cannot count that man out. So, no, I had Kansas City win. I would love to see Mahomes. I like Mahomes as a quarterback. I watched him when he was at Texas Tech.
Yeah.
Late night when I couldn't sleep. It was like, damn, who the hell is this kid? Like, I'm watching this dude, and I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah. And here we are right now. So, I mean, yeah.
Do not lose your house betting against that.
No. Shout out to Pat Mahomes. I think he's going to have 4 or 5 rings by the time his career is over. And we'll be calling him the next GOAT.
And here goes the GOAT.
Oh, man. Kobe Bean Bryant. Great guy. I've caught controversy about this, but when I give a damn, y'all will be the first to know. I've had Kobe topped, he's in my top 3. He's definitely 2 all time. Michael Jeffrey Jordan is always going to be the GOAT.
Yes.
But Kobe is right there behind him, and I got LeBron behind him. And it's something that is interesting that Rich Paul said, which I actually agree with for once. And I like Rich Paul. I think I'm just in awe and respect to what he's built at Clutch and the brand that he's built. Man, it's just amazing. And I really have a tremendous amount of respect for Rich Paul.
Same. I met him a couple of times also at the station.
Yeah. See, I have yet to meet Rich Paul. I've read his book. I got his book. I thought his book was really well done. I met Nicole Lynn, a young lady that he's hired on to lead the football aspect of his business. Very intelligent young lady. But he said, hey, if there's a room and it's Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, and LeBron James, they all 3 of them belong in the same room. I said, yeah, I can't argue with that. So rest in peace to Kobe Bean Bryant.
Now, adding on to that, there's a room. Who you letting step in it first, second, and third?
Jordan, Kobe, LeBron.
There we go. They can be in the same room, but we're going to allow the right sequence to step in first.
Jordan.
Exactly.
Mr. 6-0 NBA Finals, never went to a Game 7.
Don't know what it's like to
9-time first team all defense.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Showed that it wasn't just about the offense.
Ran through the gauntlet. I mean, that man had to play Magic. He stopped the
Pistons.
Yeah, he had to deal with the Pistons.
He had a lot.
Yikes. Had to get past Craig Elo and Brad Daugherty and Mike Price to get past the first round. Like
the Knicks wasn't, something to hunch
the
over
Knicks
either,
ain't no joke.
So.
Like you had, Starks. John Starks was that dude. Like we know about Patrick Ewing and respected Patrick Ewing, but John Starks was that dude. And then remember, that's when he left for 2 years. So you had Akeem. Yep. You had the mergers of Shaq.
Rockets were able to do their thing.
Yeah. And then as soon as he came back, we didn't hear about the Rockets no more.
Right. And it's like everyone, the argument is if he never left, how many more rings would he have?
We don't know. I don't even entertain that argument because you don't know. I mean, he could have went 7-1. Like, we don't know he's gonna go 8-0. He could have been 6-2. Like, we don't know. Like, so it's kind of, to me, it's kind of stupid to have that kind of argument where you don't freaking know. I mean, the best way you can do it is, play 2K and maybe have the old school teams play each other. But other than that, like, we don't really know.
Now, I will say you have been a tremendous groundbreaker for the culture. What are some other barriers that you want to break down and help, the next up-and-comers come through?
Man, I'm so tired of seeing mainstream outlets who don't have a connection to the culture, who most of them are culturally clueless, get all this access, but then we're there. And I mean we as far as people that look like us, we have our outlets, we growing, We're developing, but how the hell can we grow if we can't expand? That's the shit that gets on my nerves. Like, how the hell can we grow? Because everybody still had to start from ground zero. Now, some started faster than others because they had financial, contributions towards them. Some had to build their own money and invest and reinvest and reinvest. And they got to that point and doubled up. But how can we grow if we don't get access to the content? We can't grow with third and fourth party content. You cannot grow with not being in the spaces because there's no exclusivity. So how can we grow if you keep putting these invisible barriers and blocking us, those gatekeepers who have the control, some of those PR companies that have the control? How do we grow if we can't? Oh, your numbers are not here, or your numbers are not. Well, how can our numbers be that if we can't get into space?
Right.
That makes no damn sense. I mean, maybe something I'm missing here, but it sounds dumb as hell.
Without opportunity, you cannot see our true potential.
So, and we have a connection. I mean, NFL 70+% black, NBA, WNBA 80+% black, Major League Baseball 6.2% black American, right? Hockey, I don't know the numbers on that. College football, enormous amount of black players on those teams. I say all that to say, we got to have the access, and that's what I've been pushing for. That's why I had to step back from a particular team, because I'm not going to allow you to devalue me and what I've worked for. The fact that you can't even recognize my company name that I built and continuing to build, you can't even recognize that, a simple name. So if your name is John and I call you Sally, are you going to be offended by that?
Of course.
Hell yeah, you're going to be offended. So why I won't use the name that you addressed me with and that you were given, because that's a name that you hold very near and dear to your heart. So out of respect, I have to call you John, right? If I don't call you John, you're going to take it as a sign of disrespect, as you should. And eventually, the more you keep doing it, it's going to be personal.
So resentment gets going.
Exactly. So I stepped back from a particular team and organization that I refused to provide any coverage for because they simply would not work. And you had a the discriminatory practices that continue to prevail with that team, with that PR team and that organization, I could no longer condone. And I told some people that look like me, hey man, if it happened to me, it's gonna happen to you at some point.
Absolutely.
But if you think you can change it, which that's a false narrative, but you continue to keep believing that, and then you complain every time you get kicked in your ass, well, what you expect? They keep kicking you in your ass and you keep coming back for more, they gonna think it's okay. Until you stand up for yourself and you say, you know what? I'm not taking this. I know my value. I may not be here, but I know where I am right now, and I know I don't deserve, because I've earned the right to be in this space. I've earned the right to be here. Now, everybody else where sports, entertainment, they know where my name is. They know my company name. They address me by it, and they know what it is. Why is it that you can't do it? That means it's personal, because I called your ass out because what you were doing was foul and wrong, not just to me, but 5 or 6 other outlets that look like me. Mm-hmm. So no, I'm going to call you out. And I realize, you know what? Like I said earlier off the air, every fight is not worth fighting. So then I had to dial it back and say, okay, what is the best method of trying to bring awareness to it? And when I think I did a social media post, and I didn't realize how far I got because I wasn't doing it for attention. Like some people be out here clout chasing. I don't care about that. I did it because it was something that was meaningful. And eventually people at other networks started seeing it. It was like, hey man, whatever happened to da-da-da? So I'm like, oh. And then somebody told me, yo man, you know that went viral, right? And I was like, no, because that wasn't my intent. My intent was for people to see that follow me and engage with me or whatever. But I didn't think it was going to go beyond that because I wasn't tripping on it.
But real recognized real, and a lot of people was able to gravitate towards the words of it. So, and
I appreciate that. So, it's something that I've learned, and then also too, the sad part about it is you got people that look like us that don't really appreciate it and want to talk against what you're doing. And that kind of defeats the purpose, because if it's happening to you or I or another person, it's going to happen to 30 more of us at some point. And the fact that you talk against it or questioning why I keep raising the issue of the importance of black media or the importance of black-owned media or the importance of us having our space, whether we be men or women or from the LGBTQ plus community or whoever, to be able to have an opportunity to tell our versions of these stories. Right. We can all go to the same game and have 30 different versions of that particular game, or 30 different versions of that press conference or that movie that we went to go see or whatever, because all of our perspectives are different. Mm-hmm. So why is it that this bigger outlet has 5-6 spaces and we struggling to get 2? That's the problem. And that's the problem that we have to come together on, which they know we're divided, which is why they can feel like they can get away with stuff. They don't get away with stuff in the Jewish community. If they were discriminating against in which the Jewish community has every right to stand up and say, hey, man, we're not tolerating this. This is discriminatory behavior.
Right. It's not right. And we're going to say
in the Latino community, you do that mess enough, they're going to get on your head. In the Asian community, Pacific Islander community, you do that crap, you're going to get called out for it. Because they know that there's strength in numbers. We have yet to understand that, which is why they can get away with it so frequently, because they know how divided we are. Exactly. The moment we show unity and we unify together, we ain't got to always agree. We can agree to disagree. That's fine, but not be disagreeable to the point where it spews out like we see in these comedians and these grown ass adults out here acting like 15 and 20-year-old kids.
You know, Malcolm X had a really great idea about this. It's like there's not going to be community. There won't be unity and equality without community. And I think Black community is one of the communities that are the most divided.
We don't have one.
Yeah.
We have neighborhoods.
But it's because, and I genuinely think it's because these spaces allow a trickle of numbers of us to get in, and so you have this competition. You've got this. Well, there's only space for a few of us, and that's what they show. So there's not a lot of unity there. I call it block boy
mentality. We still thinking like it's this block versus that block instead of coming together, monopolizing, and then being a unit.
We're in clusters, right? And so, like you elocuted as far as just it's only a few spots. But what happened to understanding we can kick in the back door? What happened to opening the window? Hey, y'all, if I open this back door and it's slammed shut and you ain't in here, I can't do nothing for you. But at least I'm going to try to get to the back and kick open this door. We don't want to do that. I mean, a lot of us don't want to do that anymore. Some of us do. A lot of us don't. And that's an unfortunate part. And I'm not a spokesman for anybody but myself. But just based upon observation of what I've seen. Yeah. You know, I've had people, oh, yeah, I'm going to call you. And I see at certain events, it be 4 or 5 people I know. Now, it's not their responsibility to call me. No, that's not their responsibility. They don't owe me nothing. Just like I don't owe them anything. But just as a courtesy to one another, hey, man, I don't know if you know about this event, but I can't get you in. But here's the content. Okay, well, let me work. Let me work my magic and see what I can get in. But at least thanks for giving me a heads up.
Yeah, I think it stems from that slave mentality. It's like the generational trauma that comes from like house and field, right? Like,
yeah.
Unless it's addressed, it's always going to be a problem.
It's going to be there.
It's not so much just being addressed. It's now where's the solution and how are we going to execute the solution? We've addressed it for decades. But where is the solution? What are we doing to work towards the solution? And I have not overall. I've seen little bits and pieces here. And again, I've only been on this planet for so long. So I'm not talking like I'm 60, 70 years old. But I just look at listening to some of the older, the elders and listening to people that have been in the game for so many years. And you see some things have never changed. It's just matured in a different way. But it hasn't really changed. It hasn't done a whole lot. I mean, socioeconomic conditions that we for most of our communities where we come from have gotten progressively worse. Our school systems have gotten progressively worse. They're killing our kids. They're trying to doing everything they can to kill our kids' creativity and in being innovative enough to, you know, be able to say, hey, I don't want to just work for somebody else. I want to own my own architecture firm or illustration firm or whatever.
Or
you know what I mean?
My community.
I want to be a community activist and be able to get involved more and try to build my community up instead of just running away from it. You know what I mean? There are a lot of different facets. Hey, I want to go into politics because I want to feel like I can influence my people, you know, my community this way, or other people, bridging the gap between, you know, different races to be able to have peace amongst various races. You know what I mean? You never know. But to section off and to say, well, this is the only way. I mean, look at the schools how they're designed now, and then look at the penitentiary how it's designed. Look at
that's floating around right now too.
Yeah,
that's so
go
funny.
look at the
My high school used to look. We always used to joke it looks like a prison.
Think about it.
All the schools in the IE has this this factory or prison looking
bars.
And look at how they train you. They train you for a 9 to 5. You got to get up at this time. You got to be at this class at this time. You cannot get up excessively from your desk during second period, third period, fourth period. Mm-hmm. They're training you to be a worker bee. Mm-hmm. They're killing, as a foodie said, killing me soft. They're killing you softly with trying to train you in a certain way. So my thing is, that's why I tell my son, I'm like, no, color outside the lines. Mm-hmm. I never got on him when he was a kid. He said, well, my daddy, my teacher, I said, son, do you like coloring outside the lines sometime? Yeah, go for it. Do you like illustrating? Yeah. Now do your work. Work first. I don't tolerate no laziness. I don't tolerate any type of behavior, like that. Work first. But when you got some free time and this is what you want to do in your free time, go for it. Develop it. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to stop that because I'm just as guilty as those. And I said, you're nothing but a check to them. Most of these kids now, they are training them to be great test takers, but not educating them and giving them options to what they could do by the time they turn 17, 18 years old.
Opening them up to possibilities.
Exactly. Because most of these kids are checks. They're walking checks. And if you're a special education, you're a double walking check. Mm. That's why they try to find out if you miss too many days of school. Why you? Mm-hmm. What does it matter? Mm. Because they're losing money. Or they stop you from pulling your kid out of a district because they know that district's going to lose money. Mm-hmm. That's why they don't care about your kid's education. Oh, why are you going to leave the district? You know damn well I don't leave this sorry-ass district. Because I can teach my kid watching Sesame Street more than what you're teaching them. Because most of these schools are professional babysitting services. Let's be honest. That's what they are. Mm-hmm. So I can teach my kid better than you can. And I don't have to have a degree. I can read. I can understand. I can comprehend.
I can seek knowledge.
I can see.
Make sure I can pass it on.
I got 4 eyes. I can see. I can hear. So what the hell else do I need? I got experiences in certain regards. So
I'm educated.
To a degree.
They can't take away.
And even with that, like I told my son, I was having a conversation with my mom because we were talking about something and came up about my son. And I said, if he doesn't go to college, I'm not going to cry about it. I want to know what his plan is. But I'm not going to cry about it because I'm not going to let him fall into that trap. Because how many times we fall into that trap and now you got student loan debt up to your ears and you can't even find a job in your field and you can't pay it off. And now you have to pay it off because if you don't, it affects your credit. And it's a whole hamster wheel that you continue to be spinning on and never get off. And now they're talking about you got to work till you're 73 or 76 or whatever it is.
Yep.
And it's like you're not going to make it. And it's designed for you not to make it because everybody can't be an entrepreneur. Exactly true. Mm-hmm. But that doesn't mean that you can't be doing something else as well. And that's the thing. Now, some that want to be worker bees, thank God for them. I need worker bees. Thank God for them. But I'm not cut out from that. And I told my son, when you go to college, if you decide to go to college, you need to understand why you're going, what you're going for. You need to, learn a couple of things that you didn't learn before, because you can always, learn. I'm always in the space where you can learn different things. But go find your employees and go network the hell out of that school. Mm-hmm. That's the 2 things you need to do.
Yep, expand.
Find your future employees and go network the hell out of that school. Once you accomplish those 2 things, your business will be running. Because you already got the vision.
Mindset.
Fuck a dream. I'm about vision. Dreams you do when you sleep and you don't move. Visions are what you see and you move towards that. That's the difference between a dream and a vision. Other than that, it's just talk.
I say it like treadmill. Get off the treadmill and stop walking in place and start walking the pavement and moving forward.
Mm-hmm. Go jog on the beach.
Mm-hmm. Go jog on the beach. I like that. Mm-hmm. I'm going to go ahead and note that one later too. Mm-hmm. Now you spoke on your son and everything. How much does he get a kick out of, your artistry and your craft and everything?
He's just now starting to figure it out. Like when I went to, he said, Daddy, can you give me some tickets to the Super Bowl? I said, you know how much that costs? You think I can just walk up and say, hey, I'm a credential media member. I need a ticket. Sure, sir. Where would you like to sit? No, that's not how this works. That's not how this works. And so I had to tell him, I had to explain to him, and I said, look, they give out tickets very, very early in the year. So if you don't jump on it, they get very expensive. He said, oh, okay. I said, but 1 year I will take you. When you get a little older and you still want to go, I will make it to a point where I will take you at least once. I will come out of pocket if I have to. I don't have enough favors. And I will do that for you just so you have that experience and say, hey. But he's just now starting to realize it, what I do. Like he just, Daddy, you're on YouTube. Yeah. Been on YouTube for quite a while now.
He's like, actually, if you scroll up into the...
So how close are you to a million subs? I'm like, quite a ways away. Well, you get this plaque, right? And so you get this plaque, you get 100,000, and then you get 1 million, you get this other plaque, and he's like breaking all this stuff down like it's brand new information. I'm just sitting there like, okay. So I think now he's just not starting getting the hang of it as far as just understanding what I do. I've taken him to the radio. I used to take him to the radio station when I used to go. I had to do hits and stuff. Because I used to pick him up from school and we go straight to the radio station. I do my bit and then we come back. So he remembers. And I want to also show him that when you're starting to understand and call your own shots, you don't have to just do stuff just to be doing it. You do it with a purpose.
Yes.
And that's one thing I want to show him. That's why he'll still remember it to this day. Just being a single dad, I mean, that's part of, it's part of the reasons why I do this, just to try to have something for him when it's time for him to get to an age where he needs stuff and, he wants to start doing things. And hopefully I have the relationships and the finances to be able to help him. So he doesn't have to go through what I had to go through as far as worrying about where money's going to come from and got to work this and then stop doing this and go work just so I could provide for myself and now him, and then doing all this other stuff. He'll have something set up where he doesn't have to, he can strictly focus on what he wants to accomplish, how he wants to accomplish it. And then I can just watch him blossom and flourish. And that's the beautiful thing about, being in that position.
My uncle gave me a great saying when I started high school. Either you plan ahead or just plan on failing. But with a plan, you'll be able to execute.
Mm-hmm.
So that's something that I still remind him to this day.
Yeah.
And he gets a kick out of everything, but he also appreciates that those words resonate so much that I'm still putting foot to the pedal.
And that's the thing, bro. Like it's so, and it's fun too. Like it can be, I talk about like the barriers and all this other stuff, but it's also fun too. Mm-hmm. I mean, when you are in these environments that when you take a step back and you look and you're like, wow, like I'm doing stuff that most people would probably wish they had the opportunity to do. So it kind of kicks you in the behind a little bit, like, recognizing and realizing what you're a part of. And it could be overwhelming sometimes too. I mean, I have dealt with, just trying to keep my mental health in order because it can get very overwhelming, especially as an entrepreneur, as a entrepreneur of color, as a Black entrepreneur. It can become overwhelming sometimes, and you get discouraged because you keep getting these rejection notices sometimes, and you're wondering, damn, am I really doing? Am I aligned? Because that's the new word now. Am I aligned with my purpose? It's like, okay, so that's the new phraseology for the year. Okay, aligned with purpose.
You're really gonna like that book. I told you.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, it's just trying to focus on what you're doing and trying to stay focused on what you're doing and not looking at this here and trying to, checklist. Man, should I go here? Should I go there? You're not trying to checklist all of that stuff. You know what I'm saying? And that's the thing. Like, I battle mental health. Mm-hmm. And two things I'll mention in my book that I tried. When I was 12 years old, I tried to commit suicide. And then when I was 22, I tried it again because I was just such in a bad place. And the gun jammed. And I stole my cousin's gun, even though I took it. And it jammed. And at the time, I was like, damn, I can't even get this shit right. Damn. It must be really something. You know, I'm going like now here come all these other hundreds of thoughts that come in your head. Like, damn, man, you can't even get the gun right. Damn, what good are you? And I'm like, damn, yeah, what good am I? You know, you hearing all these things, and you know that's why I'm an advocate for therapy. Even now, man, I have gone through so much shit. And again, I'm not saying like, oh my God, I've gone through the worst of the worst, because there's people that are far worse. I don't know, maybe you.
No,
maybe
I will definitely, not to take you away from that, because I want to dive into that just a little bit before we dive out. But yesterday marked the 10-year mark for me, also almost making that decision.
Wow.
So you ignited me to be able to share that with the world.
Welcome.
Right now.
Well, congratulations on that. As far as
and I
having the
definitely
willingness
did
to
seek
live.
help and everything. So yeah.
Therapy. I encourage anybody. Therapy is key. I went through just dealing with my son and going through, shout out to my man TJ, but he has a book called Child Support is Fraud. If you haven't checked it out, make sure y'all go get it. Good brother too, by the way.
I'm gonna need that. I ain't got no kids, but I'm gonna.
No,
I was
good,
like,
good.
wait, what?
That sounds good. It sounds good.
No,
though.
Child Support is Fraud, and it's a good. But
I may be able to educate some of my brothers.
You need to have him on your show too if you get a chance. I'll try to pass.
Please.
We'll talk after. We'll talk all day.
And gotta have you back again too.
But anytime, man. Yeah, I'm serious. Like anytime. Trust me. One thing about me, I'm not gonna bullshit you. Like if I'm not coming on your show no more, I'll be like, oh, okay. And I'll tell you when we get off here, nah, bro, I don't think I'm gonna be back. I will tell you, I don't have a problem with it. I'm at a space in my life that I don't have time to be BSing anybody. I don't volunteer. I try not to volunteer information on people. But if you ask me, hey man, how'd you feel about that thing? And if I think it sucks, I'm gonna tell you it sucks. Now, if I think it's great, I'm gonna be like, yo, man, that was outstanding. Like I didn't even see that coming. You know what I mean? Right. So I'm going to tell you.
I appreciate the honesty, because that's what I am as well.
I'm going to tell you. But I've learned over the years, people don't like you saying stuff without, volunteering stuff. So I was okay, fine. I'll let you ask me. If you ask me, okay, be prepared.
I'm definitely going to be asking you after this, for some corrective criticism.
Because I don't like that's why certain questions I won't ask, because I ain't ready for the answer. I'm going to be like, I ain't going to lie to you. I ain't ready for the answer right then. I may ask you about 2 or 3 weeks later, like I may be sipping on something and say, hey man, what'd you think about? Word? Damn, okay, I got to get better. I'm accepted a lot better 2 or 3 weeks down the line versus right then. That's why I won't ask sometimes. I know that about me. And, just going through stuff. I had over a 2-year custody battle between my son's mom. And my son has lived with me since he was 3 years old. He's now 10 and a half. You do the math.
Yeah.
So during that 2 years, man, it was so much going on. I had people steal from me. I had to deal with her lying on me, almost putting me in jail. Retaining a multitude of lawyers that left me broke. Got into a car accident, got hit by a drunk driver, totaled my car, messed up my wrist, messed up my shoulder, excuse me. I was just in an abyss, man. I hated everything. I was negative. I was in a black space. I hated everything. And I was just in a bad space. I was bitter. I was disappointed. I was hurt. And watching my son be hurt because now his mom's not there. And then one day, I think I don't know what I was watching, but something just woke me up. And I was like, damn, I'm at the bottom. I'm just looking up. It's like, can't do nothing but look up now because you can't get no further down. And I made a point, look, man, I don't want to be in this abyss anymore. So I started slowly crawling out, and that's when I saw therapy. And therapy is one of the things that helped me get out of that. And I still battle certain things, even though I'm going through something right now. And it's a battle, man. It's a battle. It's a battle that you have to go through, and you have to. I saw something Tyler Perry had said. He said, he was in such a bad space. He was living in a roach motel, basically a trap spot. And he was like, he would loathe, because there used to be like a carport, and you could smell the car fumes when people would warm up their cars in the morning. Yes. He was praying that, just give me the car fumes so I can just take me on out. And when they didn't, he got that inkling like, okay, you got to get up this morning. Everything's gonna start to be okay. And that's what I had to remind myself, like the little things. Even talking now, just like, wow. When I saw those pictures, and it was like, wow. Just talking myself through things. And being able to go through that, to see that, and to be able to say, okay, it's going to be okay. I don't know how, I don't know when, but somehow, somewhere it's going to be okay. And those that may be listening or watching your show, they may be going through something way more life-threatening. I've overcome a health issue that I had through the grace of God and good doctors. That's why I'm here now. Like I'm an advocate for my son. I will fight anybody for my kids. I have gone off on people. I have gotten almost into. I've almost fought a couple people.
Beat up kids for your kid.
No, beat up adults.
Adults, okay. Just making it
that
clear.
was talking shit. Because one thing you can talk about me all you want. I
But
don't
do
care.
not, yeah.
The moment you start talking, acting crazy around my son, where he start getting there, I tell him, oh, go in the car. Bloop, bloop. Lock the door.
Right.
He go call my mom or call his other auntie. You gotta come down here, daddy.
Are they the equalizers? They're the ones
They
that
talk sense.
simmer
They
you
will
down?
talk sense. Yeah, but at that point, no. And I'm not no rebel rouser. You know what I'm saying? I'm not no hardcore dude trying to
But this is
prove
300
stuff.
and we are Sparta.
You know what I'm saying? I try to diffuse more situations that I get into. Even I've been in situations where I'm like, I've been in most, covering events and stuff. I've gone in through different neighborhoods, but I've always been respectful in those neighborhoods. I always wipe my feet off before I walk into their house, so to speak. So I've always been respectful, whether it's different Crip neighborhoods, blood neighborhoods, or whatever, because I'm there to do a job.
Right.
But I'm also there to pay respect and to show. I'm there to also show what my community looks like, not from the mainstream perspective, but from the people's perspective. And again, I'm learning, like, shout out to my man Sticks from Watts, who does an incredible job, in the community, in the various other communities, you know what I'm saying? Because that brother really is in tune with the people, man. And I admire that brother so much. I love that brother so much because he's shown me stuff. I watched from afar. And just watching him, how he's been able to just build and really get things going and get things moving and be able to have a Freedom Plaza where you can bring a Nike store into Watts, where you can bring certain things into Watts in that community where people don't have to travel 30 miles outside of the community to go enjoy the things that everybody else can enjoy.
You can buy into your community and
Exactly.
re-strengthen your community.
He's worked with the Clippers, he's worked with the Rams, he's worked with LAFC, besides being a talented artist. But I'm saying he has a heart for his community, man, and that brother's special, man. You got to protect that brother at all costs. And, certain other brothers, too, that I've seen. Mark, my man Mark that works with the Watts Rams in that organization and things like that. When you see people doing great work, you want to highlight and pay homage to them, because without them, where would our communities be?
Right. The
And so many
pioneers
countless
that need
others.
to be championed.
Yeah. And there's countless others that I may not name, but that are doing great work in those communities. So I just, like I said, even if I can't be out in the streets, I try to pass information along. Because again, using my platform to try to do what I can do, I try to pass information along. And yes, I have certain views that I have, and you may not agree with those views, and that's fine. But that doesn't stop me from being a black man. Doesn't stop me from being a brother. Doesn't stop me from caring about the people that are in the communities that I come from.
Right.
Just because I go about it a different way doesn't mean that I don't care. I can care less. It's because of who I may be with or may marry that doesn't look or be with the person that you think I should be with. Doesn't stop me from getting pulled over by the cops in a different neighborhood, because all they're going to see is a black man driving a particular car in a particular neighborhood.
I say to that, you may not respect me, but you for sure won't disrespect me.
No, I don't care about Jermaine Shoemake, better known as Dr. Umar, what he has to say. I listen to Dr. Umar when he talks about special education when it comes to black children, because he's absolutely right. That's his lane. That's his field. He studied in that many, many years, put a lot of time and effort into that. So I listen to what he has to say about that. That doesn't but I don't write him off completely, because I don't believe with the rest of the crap he's spewing out. That doesn't make me throw the baby out with the bathwater. It just, as an adult, I say, okay, this is what I listen to that man for. I listen to him for this, right? I listen to this person for this. I listen to that. Just like if you listen to Bob Costas to do play-by-play for baseball, okay, great. But then you go and listen to, whoever for football, right? You will listen to Chick Hearn for basketball, as it were, back in the day. Because even though they can do varieties, but Chick Hearn, you
there's
listen.
significant
You want to listen to the
voices
Lakers,
that
right?
are
You want to hear
identified
when you hear
with-
the Lakers.
Chick is
That's
the guy.
Chick Hearn, right?
Period.
Exactly. So that's what you do, right? And so many, countless others that you listen to for various sports that you don't just write them off because, oh man, I want to listen. I wish they would do this sport. No, this is the sport that you know them for.
Yeah, they're
So
unique to that.
Exactly. So why would I count them out just because that doesn't make sense to me. So,
But I got to give you your golden nuggets because you're unique to every sport. And since I'm a big giver here, I definitely want to make sure that I came giving gifts as always.
oh man, come bearing gifts.
Always, brother.
I appreciate that, man.
Got you, latest greatest.
Thank
shoe
you,
club
sir.
Sweater, and everybody's always talking about the socks. So they go.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah, my sock game got to be
Boom.
right.
Got you again. Got you again.
I appreciate you, bro.
Man.
Nah, I
Thank
appreciate
you.
you. Appreciate
Thank
you.
you, man. Thank you.
Can you please let the listeners and viewers know how to find you and get your amazing work? Because you got some stuff
Oh,
going
I
on
appreciate
and
it,
coming
man.
up.
We got some heat coming,
And
man.
he's coming
we got
back
some heat.
because this is a cliffhanger I'm leaving y'all on because there's so much more to this man that one episode is not going to express.
I appreciate it,
So
man. Just let me
definitely
know.
going to have him back for his
Listen,
part 2.
and to his credit, to this man's credit, we've been trying to do this for the last few times, and the schedules just had not worked out. So it's not him; it was me. I take responsibility for it.
He's been at Sundance. He's been at the Super Bowl. He's most likely going to be an All-Star.
No, I will not.
Oh, you won't? Okay,
No,
you taking that vacation off?
Absolutely not.
Okay,
I'm
after
not.
Super Bowl, it was
I
too
have my
much.
fair share of cold weather. I'm cool. I like Southern California. I like my weather here.
I thought you were
So-
going to see the Shay Shay and Mike Epps situation.
Listen, and quickly about that, I'm glad those two brothers finally mended fences and they
Yes.
decided to talk. Shout out to Uncle Luke because Uncle Luke made the most sense in his recent soliloquy. Thank you. Talking about just all these comedians beefing and these adults acting like kids and like, what are the kids supposed to look up to? What example do
example?
you have the kids? They killing each other. You talking about fighting each other. And y'all got all this money. What you fighting for folks with all this money for?
If the head of the
And all
place
y'all
have a head
got-
up their ass, then
Right.
where's the rest going to follow?
So how do you do that? He was like, look, all y'all need to basically shut up and just go on about your business. It's not that serious. And you got all these comedians beefing with each other and calling each other out. But what's funny?
They all got each other's number.
I don't see any other type of comedians going at each other's throats like this.
Nope, and they love to put it on TV. And
I don't.
And it's
broadcast
just
it.
us.
I don't. I'm again. I may be missing something. I don't. I can only speak from the community I come from.
Last time I checked, Adam Sandler put all his homies on. So
I don't. I mean, there was some.
there is-
I've seen some other, comedians outside of my community that kind of had some issues, but it was only a handful, as they say,
Yeah.
and we don't even talk about it anymore.
We gave y'all a handful though. We definitely
Now
did.
it's getting out of hand. I'm really getting. Honestly, I'm getting tired of it because I don't. Why don't y'all just go in a room, sit at a round table, and just hash out everything you need to hash out and move on? Because it ain't just each other. Because we don't call all the shots. Hello, we don't call all. There's people behind that call all the shots. And listen, I have a tremendous respect. I listen. I think Monique. You can't take anything away from Monique. I think she's an incredible actress. I loved her on The Parkers. I loved her. She deserved her Academy Award in Precious.
Yes.
She's a comedian. I like Cat Williams. I think Cat Williams is funny as hell.
Yes.
I think he was good. Money Mike will forever be cemented in cinema. I don't care what
Yes.
anybody says. I met Cedric Entertainer several times, interviewed him. He's treated me with nothing but respect. Bernie Mac, God rest his soul, was
Rest in
the
peace.
funny as all get. I still watch the old Def Comedy Jam. Guy Torrey, Joe Torrey, all these other Kevin Hart. Like Kevin Hart came over to us when I had a correspondent. We weren't even necessarily near the end of the car. He came over to us and gave us a soundbite.
I got to make him laugh.
He
He came to
did.
the station too.
Yeah.
I was like, I was the first black hammer. And he
Where
started
is your
laughing.
station? Because
Hey, it's like I tell everybody, just be yourself. That's how these things happen.
He sound like Tommy.
Just be.
oh yeah, like
It's at the station.
where's
Like,
your job?
You got.
What-
You ain't
oh,
got
word?
no
He just started
job,
laughing.
Tommy.
Man, got no, man. Y'all know what station I be
You know
on.
what? You absolutely
You ain't
right,
got
'cause
no
it all
station,
pours into
man.
this.
But no, I mean, I just wish cats just let's go back to laughing, man. Like Y'all been blessed with making jokes and keeping people laughing.
It ain't none of our business what's going on.
I don't
Anyways.
care.
There's DMs for a reason. You can directly message that person.
I don't care.
The way it ended is how it should have started. They ended it through the DMs. They should have started it from that point.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I love D.L. Hughley. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I've DM'd D.L. Hughley just to be like, yo, bro, that shit was funny. Just as a patron, as a fan of comedy. Like, I love watching these brothers and these sisters do that because they are gifted. Kevin Hart is, say what you want. Kevin Hart is a brilliant business dude. There's nobody that's going to have a harder work ethic than him.
The Rock.
But I'm saying comedian-wise.
But yeah, comedian-wise, no.
Nobody. Sorry, I mean, no. Eddie Murphy, Martin Lawrence, like all these guys we've been blessed to see so many gifted, talented comedians who have turned into actors. Chris Tucker, all these, just go back to laughing.
Positive, I will say positive pioneering. All this going against each other and stuff,
it just separates us furthermore.
Completely, and it just feeds more to the problem instead of adding to the solution.
Yeah, I want to watch your special when we ain't talking about the next comedian, right?
Right.
I love Dave Chappelle. I love his storytelling. He reminds me of Richard Pryor. I love that. Dave Chappelle. They want to crack on Dave Chappelle talking about when he talked about Cat Williams. It was like, well, he's making a point. Where's your spirit of discernment? When it comes to Monique and her stuff, where's your spirit of discernment? Where's your spirit of discernment when it came to at least accepting what Dave, now if you disagree with it, fine, but at least hear the man out.
Right.
Because he was saying, hey, what about the whiteies? Like,
Yeah, there's plenty of drama there.
You know what I mean? But you never mention none of them.
Right.
But you want to mention those that we see. It's like,
and our stuff is always on Front Street.
You're not a rebel.
Always in the.
You're not a rebel. You ain't Tupac just because you claim thug life.
Right.
You got to shoot at some cops. You got to be standing up for some people. You got to give some money to some single mamas that ain't nobody watching.
Right. Be in the trenches and understand what the real situation is.
Right. And that's what I'm saying. Like, everybody wants to claim thug life, but they not Tupac. Pac stood for more than just thug life. Pac saved a man's life and didn't know they were undercover cops there in Atlanta. Pac was giving money to single moms that were living on the street that we didn't have social media back then. Listen to the accounts from his friends and things like that. Pac set a standard. Pac was a great actor. Was going to probably be an Oscar award-winning actor if he stayed alive long enough.
So good. Juice.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, there's just things about Tupac that people just picked. No, that wasn't Pac. So you're not Pac. You can't claim that you Pac when you haven't done those things. So you're not a rebel just because you expose 8 people when there's 60 people to be exposed. If you're going to expose people, expose them. If you're not, then you're not.
All right. All the way or not at all.
Church.
Y'all heard that, ladies and gentlemen. Now let them know where to find you.
Yes, sir. Sorry for that long soliloquy.
No, I appreciate it.
And he will be like, yeah, we don't need you back for part 2. That was enough. Thank you so much. We were wonderful. Lovely parting gifts over there for you. Now, you can find me on X at Nick Hamilton 213. Also follow us at Nightcast Media on all social media platforms, X, TikTok, Instagram, NITECASTMEDIA, and nightcastmedia.com. You can also follow me on Instagram at Nick Hamilton LA. Subscribe to us on YouTube, youtube.com/NH Experience TV. We got some other shows coming up. And we got another business venture that I'm working on with another business partner. So we coming.
I'd love to bring them back to talk about that.
We coming. Yeah, the radio show is being revamped. So
a lot of work going on. We coming. Y'all hear this and y'all know what to do at this point. Like, comment, subscribe. I'm your host, Sbpress, and like that, we are going.
They hate when you elevate. They stacking up losses, I'm handing them out. Yeah, I had to go delegate. It feel like I'm floating, I'm lost in the moment. I swear I could levitate. They never believed that I would really fly. I had to go demonstrate.